Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Uttishthata jagrata prapyavaran nibodhata shurasya dhara nishita duratya durgam patastat kavayo vadanti. Uttishthata, arise, jagrata, awake, Varan prapya, having reached the great teachers, nibodhata, learn, realize, gain the knowledge of the self. Kshurasya dhara nishita duratyaya. Kshurasya dhara, like the razor's edge. Nishita, when it is very well sharpened, duratya, it is difficult to tread. You cannot walk on the razor's edge. Durgam pathastat kavayo vadanti. Kavaya, the wise people say that tat pathaha panthanaha, that the marga, the path is durgam, is very difficult to tread. This is how the wise people say. They as though warn us. Kavaya, wise people say that pataha, the panthanaha, this path is durgam, is difficult to tread. The idea is not to discourage us by emphasizing the difficulty of following the spiritual path, but that this path requires a constant awareness, the focus. When you're walking in the mountains, on a trail, a narrow trail, one side is the mountain, other side is the valley, and there's a narrow path along which you are walking, then you do be very careful. So, durgam pataha, that path is difficult to tread, meaning that you have to be careful. Kavayaha vadanti, this is what the kavayaha, the wise people say. Thus, apparently, the path of growth, the spiritual path, is the path of self-growth. From wherever we are, each one of us has already grown to where we are, because this is an ongoing process, initiated from the time beginningless. We have passed through countless births in the past. And as a result, each one of us is born with some maturity, some samskaras, some impressions, tendencies, which also include the impulses of ragadveshas. Each one of us has to confront our mind, which sometimes gets angry, sometimes greedy, impulsive, because these samskaras or tendencies are as though, stored in the mind. And therefore we have to be careful. It is not that the path is something external to ourselves, like walking on the trail in mountains. This is the path from ignorance to knowledge, from as though non-self to self, ignorance to knowledge, aviveka to viveka, priyaha to shreya. As human beings, we are self-conscious beings, and we have been given this faculty of choice. And therefore, every moment we have to make a choice. As far as the creatures other than human beings are concerned, they have no choice, the choice is made for them. They live their life based on their instinct. And therefore they always do what is right for them. A cow doesn't make mistake in what to eat, and so does a lion doesn't. And so they know instinctively what is right for them, and that is how they lead their life. Healthy life they lead. Unless they come to human beings and we have sort of, they become like domesticated, and then we feed our dogs all kinds of things, and cats all kinds of things, and cows all kinds of things, and all kinds of diseases also develop, and that's beside the point. But as I said, in that sense, the creatures, the human beings are lucky because they have no choice to make, they have no responsibility, they have no anxiety, they have no stress. But no pain, no gain, and therefore there is no growth also in them. A buffalo is born buffalo and it dies also buffalo. It doesn't have the scope of changing into a better creature. Whereas human being has that. And for that, this faculty of choice is given to us. However, when that freedom is given to us, it also becomes our responsibility to make the right choice. And if we make a wrong choice, we can hurt ourselves. Make the right choice, we help ourselves. Thus we can say every moment when we make a choice, there is a potential of helping myself or hurting myself. Thus there is a possibility I can hurt myself if there is lack of viveka or discrimination, then I make a wrong choice. And that will happen whenever my choice is governed by my impulses. Whenever raga and dvesha, they govern my choice, the choice will be wrong. Because I as though become blind. When my mind is overtaken by impulses of attachment and aversion, I don't see reality as it is. My vision gets distorted. It's like wearing some colored glasses and what appears to me is different from what it really is. And therefore, since my perception is wrong, my conclusion is wrong, my judgment is wrong, my action also is wrong. Because human being can make a wrong choice. Therefore we are told that make sure that in every situation you make the right choice. That you exercise viveka or discrimination. And what is the choice? As far as we saw, the choice is between shreya and priyaha. Priyaha, the path of pleasant, shreya, the path of growth, path of lasting happiness. So these choices are always there, and make sure that you make the right choice. Shurasya dhara nishita duratyaya. Like the razor's edge, how difficult it is to tread on razor's edge, so also the path is as though difficult. Because these two entities come, together, and it is difficult sometimes for us to distinguish between the two. What gives me an immediate gratification, what is good for my long-term happiness. Priyaha, immediate gratification, shreya, long-term happiness. Viditatmananda vishamiva, choosing long-term happiness requires me to let go of my temptation of immediate gratification. And that's painful. But in so doing, ultimately, I do good for myself. And if I fall for my temptations, then it may give me an immediate gratification and creating a long-term unhappiness. Therefore, be careful. This is the carefulness that they are drawing our attention to. And when you do that, ultimately you will grow to a point. This viveka, or making the right choices, will go up to a point where you will gain an opportunity to make viveka between Atma and Atma. Start with dharma and adharma. Dharma, what's the right conduct? Adharma, what's the wrong conduct? That is what we begin with. And slowly, we will grow to a point where we will have the subtlety, sukshmata. Drishyate tu agraya buddhya sukshmaya sukshmadashivi. If we are leading a life such that progressively our mind becomes subtler and subtler, more and more sattvic, that there are impulses of rajas and tamas, raga, dveshas, we recognize them. We do not submit ourselves to those impulses and firmly choose sattva or what is really good for in long term. The rajas and tamas may offer us a short-term gratification, but sattva offers us a long-term growth and long-term happiness. And in every situation we recognize that and make the right choice. The marg is said to be difficult because of our mind only, which is likely to fall for temptations, for shortcuts. Avoid exertion. So my alarm rings in the morning at 5 o'clock. If I wake up at that time, then Swami, did you do a pranayama? Did you do this, that, yoga? I can do everything. But I shut off that alarm clock. 6 o'clock, 6:30, then slowly, no time for pranayama, yogasana, nothing, no time to help myself. There's this temptation of an easy, comfortable, continuing the comfort of sleep. How in long term I sacrifice my health. Thus, making wrong choices has a consequence of a long-term damage to my own self. It may not be very evident, but every time a wrong choice is made, a little damage is done, a little trauma is there, which is no big deal. But when all those little traumas add up, then it becomes big trauma. I give the examples of young people in Ahmedabad who ride their two-wheeler bike, and in order to slow them down, the municipality has constructed many bumps, speed bumps. Young people don't care for the speed bumps, they just go. They jump. But then every time he jumps and his vehicles collides with the ground, there is a little trauma. He is a young, strong man, doesn't feel. All these traumas add up and add up and add up. At the age of 45, one morning he just cannot get up from his bed. Oh, my muscle has, twisted. looks like I slept in a wrong manner. But it's not so. He did something wrong for a long time. As a result, now this has happened. And similarly also, Shruti says to us, awake, arise. Awake meaning that from aviveka, rise to viveka. Arise means that wake up from the long sleep of ignorance. Before we are able to wake up from the sleep of ignorance, first of all, we should wake up from this aviveka and wrong choices all the time, constantly. Thus mind becomes, this is the life of yoga. Life of attention, focus, concentration, self-control, making right choices. As against life of bhoga, where you let the mind do what it wants to do. So from life of bhoga to life of yoga. Aviveka to viveka. And at every step it requires for us to let go what I like to do and do what is right for me to do. Swami says that in every situation we have a choice to do what I like and what is right. What I like always tempts me, but then I have to assert my viveka or discrimination and do what is right. That is the path of yoga. And in the beginning sounds difficult because you get Swami, I get exhausted with this because I don't do the practice of concentration, practice of, and so, but slowly and slowly I get, trained and used to that. Uttishtata, jagrata, thus arise from a life of aviveka to the life of viveka, from a life of bhoga to the life of yoga. And slowly you will develop then automatically a liking for karma yoga. You will develop a desire for doing something for others instead of just for myself. I want to do something for others. And part of my karma, the effort I made, will be then dedicated to the well-being of others. As I discover the joy of doing something for the others, then I want to do more and more of that. Ultimately, he becomes a karma yogi where all his actions are performed for the well-being of others. So what does he get? If I do everything for others, what do I get? When you do something for the others, every action creates in you a satisfaction. Why is it so? Because had I been in that position and I was needy, I would have liked somebody to help me do something and therefore when I do that, I am doing something which is right, in keeping with the fundamental order. That's why I feel good. When I do something for others, I feel good because that is what I would have desired had I been in that position. So I am following the fundamental order. Atmana pratikulani paresham na samacharet, says Mahabharata, that do not do unto others what you do not want others to do to you. Which means that do unto others what you would like others to do for you. It's a very simple thing. Turns the life from bhoga to yoga, from bhoga to tyaga. And once you start enjoying that process, then it becomes, the whole thing accelerates. So this is how Ishvararpita karmataha chitta shuddhi. Thus, performing actions in this manner, enjoying the act of offering, enjoying the act of contribution. That is called chitta shuddhi, when there is happiness within. When something that I do creates in me a satisfaction, that means that I am doing something right. And that satisfaction shows the purification of mind. Viditatmananda, we said that yesterday, that in a mind like this, there arises the value for knowledge now. As the mind becomes sattvic, then there is a love for knowledge. Love for scriptures, love for Ishvara, love for Devatas, love for Mahatmas. Automatically liking for these entities arise in our mind. And then you follow the path of Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. Because you enjoy listening to scriptures. You enjoy the teacher unfolding, because scriptures only talk about us. And basically we are only interested in ourselves. Mind is always looking for this, what is in it for me? Because the Upaniṣad says, Atmanasu kama sarvam priyam. That is why Vedanta is most dear to us, because it talks about us. And that is the agenda, and the Vedanta speaks about what is most important to me. And that's how you start liking and enjoying Vedanta. Your interest grows. And then a time comes when you feel that Swamiji now doing all these household chores and this and that is an obstacle. If the mind slowly gets transformed from bhoga to yoga, then anything that comes in the way of pursuing the life of yoga becomes an obstacle. Therefore now living a householder life, having to do all these daily chores, they become an obstacle to you. Swamiji, I want to listen to classes and now my children are there and this is there and that is there. Now they all time, they draw my attention. I have to spend so much time with them. I don't get time to do what I want to do. Thus now the priorities have changed. The values have changed. Now no more restaurants interest you and the movies and stuff like that. What interests you is now. For these YouTubes are there, so you don't have to go anywhere also to listen to the classes. 5 years ago we had to, but now you don't have to. So that is of Shravanam. Fortunately, we don't have to come to the Gurukulam also, and that is a bad thing. And Gurukulam also obliges by this live streaming, and so you can, I don't know whether this class is live streamed or not, but you can sit home and listen to all this. So why should you have to come here? But you see, if you don't pay anything, then that the reward also is not very satisfactory. Listening to something in your home, sometimes people, Google, they have Google classes. Then you see people in their home, sitting in the night dress and stuff like that, sipping a cup of tea and then listening. Somebody said, Swamiji, we listened to our classes were on Brahma Sutras or Vadesha Sahasra, some very difficult topic. We are listening to you, Swamiji, while we are wiping our floors. So I guess slowly these liberties they enter. And the discipline and concentration that is required when you are here listening, the environment that you have, even though our Swami did not like this energy, etc., he didn't like it, but that is there. That has an impact upon us. There's so much more advantage in attending classes here, right in front of the teacher. Directly listening from the lips of the teacher. The olden days, of course, there was no choice. As I said yesterday, today teachers come to us. So first time when they were live streaming, then Swamiji, you came to our home. Somebody from some other state said. Those days we had to go to the teachers. Savitpani shrotriyam brahmanishtam tad vijnanartham sagurumeva vigached. Savitpani shrotriyam brahmanishtam tad vijnanartham, for the purpose of the knowledge. Gurum eva vigached, he must necessarily go to a teacher. He must go to a teacher. He must go to the teacher. He must go to the teacher alone, and he must go to the teacher. The evakara can be applied to these other different words. And in the Vedic times, you cannot go to the teacher unless you leave home. It's not that you go and come back and you commute. That was not possible because they lived in some area, they lived in forests and in river banks of the river, in inaccessible, distant places. So if you wanted to go to listen to teacher, it means that you have to leave home. Now that was a big thing. Tad vijnanartham sagurumeva vigached. Then you have to leave home. Leave home means what? Leave home. Not that I come back after some time. Even though I thought so myself, by the way. When I learned that they are offering a course in Sandipani, in Bombay, in New York, I thought it's a 2.5-year course, very convenient. And I'll come back and, continue my career. Because you don't know what Vedanta is. In fact, I discovered that people outside this gate do not know what is inside the gate, really. What the ashram has to offer. Fortunately, it was our Swamiji who was our teacher. I did not know him, but see, it all works. Ishvara makes all arrangements. And by His grace, in 3 days, all my engineering and everything disappeared from my mind. That thought never came back. I had no responsibility, no reason to go back, no reason, free bird. Anyway, so this is how it was. You have to go there and then leave this. Even though we were not supposed to, we didn't go home, but once I went, my elder brother used to live in Bombay, and Swamiji was away someplace giving lectures, and we were in the ashram, and we all felt sick. Oh, we went to Jodhpur someplace and attended Bada Swamiji's classes, and came back all sick. In the ashram, there is nobody to take care of you, So my friend, I took the liberty of going to, because my elder brother lived in Bombay, so we went there for a few days to get some treatment. And then Swamiji came back and learned that, still you have to go home. Otherwise, he's a very kind person, but he was not particularly kind this time. He did not appreciate at all. So what was expectation, that you going home is not condoned, no good. So once you come, that is it. Here the ashram was still in the outskirts of the city, so but nobody went home. But the point is that those days the ashrams were far away. There was no possibility of coming home, or members of family coming there. That also was not there. Therefore, you burn all the boards, you conclude all the account here, and you take sannyasa and go. Therefore, going to teacher for studying Vedanta means that you take sannyasa. That was Vividisha sannyasa. Sannyasa taken for Vividisha means Vedisha for knowledge. So then tad vijnanartham sagurumeva vigaccheti, he goes to teachers, meets himself with the teacher. And when I went, first we went to check out the ashram. How is the ashram and how are the rooms and how are the bathrooms? So when we went there, Puja Swami was there and my elder brother Swami Bhabhi. It was like mother, She started checking out, what do you feed here? Don't worry, Amma, we'll feed them, we'll take care of them. So we have such flimsy concerns, what will be how will the bathroom be, how will chapatis will be, this will be. Thank God all of them just disappeared. That was the grace that Vedanta took hold of you in no time. And nothing else mattered. But I am a slow person, really, in changing. Next step was shaving the head. Changing your clothes, meaning that wearing simple clothes. Wearing a dhoti and stuff like that. I was one of the last ones. And the four of us then volunteered to get shaven-headed. Every month the barber used to come. So that was a great achievement. We have a picture of the four of us who were shaven-headed. See, going from the city life, how difficult, how the transformation takes place slowly and slowly. But that transformation has to take place. From a worldly person, you must turn completely into a spiritual seeker. Atmavare drashtavya shrotavya sarvanam takes place at the feet of a teacher. And mananam nididhyasanam. Uttishtata prapyavaran nibodhada. May you go to Varan, the superior ones, the learned ones, the revered ones, the teachers, nibodhata, and gain this knowledge. What is this knowledge? Knowledge is very simple. What is one? That's simple knowledge. What does the teacher teach us? What is one. Swami likes to say, what is Ishvara? What is Brahman? What is self? What is you? What do you mean, Swamiji? What is I, the self? You mean I am everything, I am all of this? When Vedanta says that Ekameva Dvityam, all there is one without a second, and that one is you. All there is you, and there is nothing other than you. Now this can be recognized only when my perception of what you or what I changes. Upaniṣad says, Tattvamasi. That thou art, you are that, you are a Brahman, you are non-dual, you are the self of all, you are the one without a second. I? Which I? Now, in order for me to assimilate that statement, my perception of I has to change. So far, I take myself to be an ego consisting of the body, mind, sense complex. But that I cannot be everything. So what does the teacher mean by you when he says you are Brahman, you are the self of all, you are everything? What is meant by you? When the teacher says you, is he pointing out to the body, is he pointing out to the mind, the intellect, the ego? What is he pointing out? When we give a thought to that, we realize that neither body nor mind nor ego also can be everything. So what the teacher means by you is, so that is what prompts me to contemplate upon what is meant by the teacher, what is the true nature the teacher refers to. My true dimension is revealed by the teacher. Certainly this body cannot be I, which is what I have been thinking so far, nor the mind, nor the ego, because the ego, even this cannot be everything. I cannot be limitless. Thus the Atma-anatma viveka, the discrimination, separation of the self from the non-self, it's a very simple process. Process is very simple. The simple rule, ghatat drashta, ghatat bhinna, the perceiver of this pot is different from the pot. Simple rule. The perceiver, drashta of this pot is different from the pot. And the perceiver, pot is perceived. Meaning that I am different from whatever is perceived. So I never confuse myself with this table, that table is I, am pot is I, etc. Very clear that that is drishya and I am drashta, that is perceived, I am perceiver, there is object, I am subject. The subject-object, distinction is very clear to me. Somehow when it comes to this body, then everything changes and this body habitually I take as myself. So Lord Krishna says, idam shariram kaunteya kshetramidya vidiyate. Hey Kaunteya, this shariram, this body is kshetram, is object. Is object of a perception, is non-self. Etadyo veditam prahu kshetrajna, the one who knows that, one who sees that, one who is aware of that is the kshetrajna subject. In Vedanta, as in Bhagavad Gita, the 13th chapter, the teacher now gives us this understanding of who am I, the Atma, Anatma Viveka, distinction between the self from the non-self. Because in life there is a mix-up of the two. The Lord Krishna, idam sharya, he sharya, he Kaunteya, this body, and body includes the mind also. All of this is anatma. You are kshetrajna. Is the kshetra, you are kshetrajna. Kshetra means knower of kshetra. You are the subject and this is object. And then Lord Krishna proceeds to say further, what's the nature of kshetrajna? What's the nature of the self who is the subject and knower? Kshetrajnam chapimam viddhi sarvakshetreshu bharata. Hey Bharata, who are you? You are kshetrajna. First I am told that you are kshetrajna, meaning that you are the subject who is aware of the object, aware of the body, aware of the mind, aware of the ego, that aware you are. But what's the nature of the aware? Kshetrajnam chapamam viddhi sarvakshetreshu bharata. Hey Bharata, know that the aware that you are is my own self. I am the aware, I am the self in you. Lord Krishna is myself. The I is Lord Krishna, that's what Lord says. This is the teaching of Vedanta. It's very simple. All I need to do is recognize that this body is something that is object of my perception, awareness. I am not the body. I am also aware of my sense organs, eyes, ears, etc. They are all instruments. Body is a place of residence. The eyes and ears are all the instruments with which I perform various functions. So I cannot be the one who uses the instruments or the tools. The mind also is a tool. The intellect also is a tool. These various beautiful tools are given by Ishvara to me, for me, to perform the functions in my life. But I have taken the tools to be myself, that's the problem. Like a carpenter thinks that I am this chisel and I am this hammer. So the stroke of chisel, something has happened to me, hammer. And so once I identify with that, a miserable condition. So I told that, hey, all these are instruments which you are using, you are different from them. This viveka is what Vedanta teaches us. The huge books are there. Very complicated books are there, but thing is very simple. The simple Atmanatma Viveka. That's what Lord Krishna told Arjuna also. Na jayate mrete va kadachit achedyoyam adahyoyam nainam chandandi shastrani nainam dahati pavakaha. In all these verses, Lord Krishna said, hey Arjuna, that which can be cut asunder by the sword, by the weapons, you are not. What can be burned by fire, you are not. What can be dried by air, you are not. What can be wetted by water, you are not. You are unwettable, you are unwettable, you are unburnable, etc., etc. So what is the result of this knowledge, Swami? I gain the knowledge, what happens? You become a wise person, an enlightened person, which we described yesterday, Atmaniya Atmanatushta. In this whole process, this is a rewarding process in as much as at every step you keep on discovering a self-worth. My basic problem is that I don't look upon myself as a worthy being. More and more I discover the true nature of myself, I see myself as a real worthy person. Swami, you are Brahman, I am Brahman, and you are... No, when I say I am worthy, you are also equally worthy, because the distinction also slowly goes. Prapyavaran nibodhata. We approach the wise and gain this knowledge from them, knowledge of self. That self that you are is limitless, is one, non-dual. You are the self of all. During all along, may you pay attention, Swasthadhara, this path is like the razor's edge. I don't know why they say that, but that's what they say. This path is like treading the razor's edge. Now, what is meant by razor's edge is walking on the razor's edge. That you can cut your feet, or you can fall down, maybe. Like walking on that rope, Is it said to scare us away? Reading this, oh, this is not my job, I can't do that. There are some people, when they are told that this is difficult, this is not for me. There are a few, when they are told this is difficult, I will do it. So Arjuna was like that. When he is told that you cannot do that, you cannot shoot that, I will do that. So that's what a teacher expects from us. By saying that this path is like razor's edge, then I will do that. All it requires is that I have to be extremely careful. I have to be totally focused. I cannot afford to have my attention distracted of anything else. I must be totally devoted to this. That requires sannyasa. I mean that giving up, giving sannyasa means that nothing else remains important. Not you leave your home or stop doing what you're doing. Recognize that all this you are doing because that is your job to do, but they no more hold any importance to you. This thing becomes more and more important. So the path is not difficult to tread when one has a value for that. And thus this is the whole process for a spiritual seeker expressed in this one statement. Uttishtara, arise, jagrata, awake, arise from aviveka and take to the life of viveka, from bhoga to life of yoga, from the self-centered actions to the selfless actions. And you discover the purification of mind, you discover the desire for knowledge. The path will open for you and will go to the teachers and approach them, seek the knowledge, you gain the knowledge. Why that Upanishad says, Durgam Patha Tat Kavayo, the wise say that this path is very difficult to tread. If you have developed interest in that, there is nothing difficult about it. Because this is the whole process enjoyable. Our Puja Swami used to say that in the Himalayas, not only Gangotri is very beautiful and enjoyable, but the path to Gangotri also is equally enjoyable. Not only the end is valuable and enjoyable, but the means also is equally enjoyable, valuable. So I would not worry about this Durgam Patha Tat Kavayo Vadanti. The wise say that this path is difficult to tread. Once you discover a value, then it is very rewarding at every step. It is true that it calls for vairagya. That your mind is free from all other priorities. Now things don't interest you. That formally, that is what we discovered when we went to the ashram, that formally what was valuable to us is what is not to be given up now. We were always told there in the corporate world that you must assert yourself and you must do this, and then only you should dominate, you should assert. Now the value is amanitvam, madambitvam, humility is a value. Formally, assertion was a value. So that way you turn around, no doubt about that. I remember myself, I came from United States and I had a little bit of, air. So even when we are standing in line with the tea, etc., come on now, quick. He said, hey, he has come from New York. So he says, no. So this kind of thing was there for some time. That slowly all of that went away. So it is true that that transformation takes place when this becomes valuable, other things lose their value. I am just describing myself so that in case anybody, something happens, then you know. But then, Upanishad said earlier also, Nichayatam mrityumukhat pramuchyate, says Yamaraja to Nachiketa, that gaining this knowledge, you become free from the jaws of death, meaning that you become immortal. Because you are immortal. I am mortal is a notion I entertain because I take the mortal body to be myself. I realize that I am the aware of the body. Body is my dwelling place. Sense organs are my instruments of action. The mind is the faculty of thinking and feeling. Intellect is faculty of knowing. And so enjoy all those faculties, but don't identify with them. Mrityu mukhat pramuchyate. Gaining this knowledge, one becomes free from the jaws of death. I am in the jaws of death constantly as long as I take this body to myself. Constant fear of death. No, Swami, but even when I am walking also, I am always careful to make sure that I am safe. I don't get injured, I don't do that. So always this concern is there. Because his body is I. If body is there, I am there. Body is safe, I am safe. Dehe pushte aham pushtah, dehe naste aham nashtah. So mrityu mukhat, constantly the human being is identified with the body, is in the jaws of death. Pramuchyate, you recognize that the body is not you. It is an instrument given to you. That's how you become free from the jaws of death. Meaning the identification with the body-mind complex. And thus, a wise person is free from the fear of death. From death, he becomes immortal. That the one who was immortal becomes immortal. So this is the teaching. Because the question of Nachiketa was in the context of death, that when a person dies, then this question remains whether or not there is something remains after the body. All along Yamaraja has said that very much what remains is immortal. What goes is mortal. What goes is what has come. But what does not go is what has not come. Nichayatam mrityu mukhat pramuchyate. Knowing the self, one becomes free from the jaws of death. So this is the reward that one gains from knowing the true nature of ourselves. Understand that there is no choice. Meaning we do not have choice other than knowing this. The only way I can become free from my sense of lack or want or helplessness is only by recognizing my true nature. There is no other way. However kind of, the walls I create around myself for security, all of these are not capable of giving me that. The only way to be free from fear, free from death, free from sorrow is to know that I'm always free. So this is basically what Kaṭha teaches, what Vedanta teaches. And this is what was said here, that prapyavaran nibodhata, you approach the wise and gain this knowledge of the self. Surasya dhara, that this path is, you have to be very attentive and very careful and committed to that. Once you discover its value, then you automatically become committed. So this is how we conclude our discussion on the statement of Kaṭha. Uttisthata, jagrata, prapyavaran nibodhata. Second statement says, Surasya dhara, that this path is is like razor's edge. We said that it just means that we have to be attentive, that's all. Now, not fearful, but we have to be attentive. Our mind being what it is, and all kinds of samskara are there of the past, is likely what kind of samskara may arise in my mind. And therefore we have to be careful basically with our own self, our own mind. And watch the mind, what kind of thoughts are arising based on the samskaras which are stored in there, and do the discrimination and not submit myself to the impulses of the mind. That's all. Be always alert and remain true to my commitment. So with that we'll conclude our discussion here on this statement and this retreat. And what will follow now is the little program of Guru Dakshina. Will invite you to come in line and receive your prasad. And that is how the retreat ends. Before I conclude, I don't know why this thought occurs to me. Is somebody has some very quick question? Yeah, 1 minute.
Namaste, Swamiji. The Upanishads are Shrutis, and the Kaṭha Upanishad being one of them. How would we, as mortals, understand the journey of Nachiketa to Yamaloka? Because we do know that once you go to Yamaloka, there's no return. How would we understand that concept? Like, did he die to go to Yamaloka and then come back? Or how is that concept understood? Thank you.
The concept can be understood simply is that when you are ready, the teacher comes to you or you go to teacher, you meet the teacher. In case of Nachiketa, he went to Yamaraja, let us say, he went to Yamaloka. But that is not necessarily story of everybody. But what he said here is that when Nachiketa was ready, the path was open for him to meet his teacher. And so it may be different with different people. And the way we meet our teacher may be unique to our own self. But what is meant here is that when you are ready, then there is always grace which unites you with your teacher. And therefore the process may be different with different people. Okay.
Namaste, Swamiji. Like a couple of days back, you were saying that we should aspire to focus on dharma, and artha and kama would come along as part of the journey. But as a young professional, it's, at least for me, I focus on dharma, but I also have to focus on artha kama. At least artha, I have to focus. So because I have to focus on acquiring wealth, because this is the age to acquire. So would you say that maybe Vedanta is more for people after we are completed with our professional life, and while we are doing our professional lives, just focus on dharma and do the right thing, and maybe just learn the concepts, but it's hard to apply it right now because it's kind of hard to play two different roles which are contradicting one another. At work, we have to be assertive, we have to be go-getter, we have to be focusing on artha kama, and outside of work, we have to live a righteous life. I mean, at work as well, righteous life. So somewhere I feel at least conflicted somewhere there, where should be my focus, as a young professional. Thank you.
Remind yourself that you are playing the role. As a young professional, you are playing the role, and then every role has a script and its priorities. At home, maybe you may play a different role, but at the core, you must remember that you are seeking happiness and freedom. Right now, you are understanding. So, to tell you that artha and kama are means of happiness and freedom, so you are pursuing them. As long as you pursue them on the path of dharma, it's quite all right. But this pursuit of dharma, along with artha kama, will slowly also create in you a value for a long-term goal. Value for learning, value for knowledge, as you are here right now, for example. So, if you stick to dharma, other things will happen.
Harigam Swamiji. So in Kaṭha Upaniṣad we saw it says first arise and then awake. You touched about that yesterday. Can you please elaborate why this order has been chosen? Like my understanding is a person has to be awakened and only the rise can happen, right?
In this case, yes, right. That's a good question. Awake from sleep. In this case, sorry. In this case, it is sleep of ignorance. Meaning that we have to rise from the sleep of ignorance by a pursuit of knowledge. However, pursuit of knowledge requires a preparation, a certain maturity of mind where there is a value for knowledge. The pursuit of anything takes place when there is a value. So then live a life such that in course of time the value for knowledge arises in you. That is called arise. Arise from adharma, arise from the life of bhoga, and then be aware of the life of yoga. Arise that there is a certain goal in your life other than artha kama or dharma artha kama. That the life is meant for a greater purpose than just, eat, drink and make merry. So that way arise to the awareness of what this life is meant for. Then awake, then you realize that ignorance is the cause, is what is in fact preventing me or depriving me from what my true nature is. And then next step is to remove ignorance. First we remove aviveka. So arise from aviveka to life of viveka, and then wake up from ignorance to knowledge. So first step is viveka, and second step is pursuit of knowledge. Yeah.
Swamiji, when does one know one is ready or request for sannyasa?
Well, when you find that there are no other priorities, nothing holding you back. It may be your profession, maybe your family, maybe your other commitments or whatever. You may never discover a total freedom, but you find that you have enough freedom to be able to withdraw yourself. That if you leave your family, you will not abandon them, you do not put them in, streets. So that when you leave a setup and come to another one, make sure that that setup also continues to function. If the whole family depends upon you, then you have to think whether leaving that family, what consequences are there. And maybe that may require you to wait for some time. And so, looking at the consequences of my leaving present setup, consequences to myself, consequences to those who are dependent upon me, associated with me, connected with me. Because we have to make a decision taking into account those who are dependent upon us. This man comes on and says, today I resign my job. He fought with his boss. I resign. What do you mean resign your job? What will happen to the family? You can't resign. When you resign the job, you are representing the whole family. I just give up my resignation. No, that may be irresponsible. I'm saying? So similarly, what does sannyasa mean and what it means to your present setup, your present life, etc., take all that into account. That there is no major disruption happening. Some disruption will happen. But that they can deal with it. No major disruption is happening.
Thank you so much.
Swamiji, namaste. In continuation of your response, now how do you consider Gautam Buddha leaving his wife and young kids for sannyas? Was it a responsible step for him towards his wife and child?
His urge was so strong that it is not he who decided, it is that urge that decided. The call was so strong that is what decided what he should do. Here also, if the urge is so strong, nobody will wait to ask the question. This man was threatening his wife, I'm going to give up, I'm going to take sannyasa. He will never take sannyasa. He keeps on saying that. And so it depends on how strong your urge is. Well, towards anything. That stronger the bond you have, stronger the urge will have to be. Then only you can, cut off those relationships. Well, there are two things that are happening. Number one, that when you leave, something happens to you that you are now have no benefit of all that support, emotional support or other kind of support that you had. And are you free enough to do that? Second is that those who are leaving behind have no support of you. Now, is it a major disruption or some disruption will be there, but they can manage it. Sometimes the impulse is so strong they don't care, they just walk out. There are cases, genuine cases. And they disrupt, a lot of disruption does happen in the family and then they somehow manage, but so Gautam Buddha was an extreme case like that. Because he loved his wife, he loved his child. But then his that desire must be so intense that these attachments, etc. Yes. No, but you see, this is such a noble goal that goal of a child will be ultimately served. They say that hey, when you take sannyasa, you are selfish. You are pursuing knowledge for yourself. But this is not that kind of knowledge. This is knowledge of self, that is self of all. And therefore one need not have a sense of guilt that now I'm pursuing knowledge and it is going to happen. Even when you go to take up a job, you are abandoning your family, going to some different place. So without cutting off some cords, it's not possible to make any change, you know. All right, so we'll conclude here with Shanti Mantra. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Namaste, quick announcement. We have the Guru Dakshina covers in the front also, and some more here kept here in the dais as well. So if anyone needs to have. Thank you.